So this is a weird thing that I do, but I just don't name the save files for Assassin's Creed. So I'm usually just Desmond. So anyway, what do you wish to be called?
Désmondeux, he's in disguise.
Okay, do I write it like French? I forgot that that's not how that works on this thing. Oh, we don't have that. Okay.
Yeah, write it like French. Add unnecessary vowels.
Oh wait. Désmondeux.
Heh.
I don't think anyone ever expects to wake up one morning and find themselves caught in the middle of a war between two secret organizations. I know I didn't.
Alright, so lore dump.
But here I am. On one side are the Templars, better known these days as Abstergo Industries.
You know, my favorite part about this cutscene is how they did it again in 3.
Economics, technology.
Yeah.
They won't stop.
Literally the same cutscene, more or less.
Literally. Fighting against them are the assassins.
And it's for the people who haven't been playing along, but they're going to be confused too.
Yeah, like it's not doing the best job just explaining stuff, because like, you know, yeah, technically you fall into the world. I should know, because this was my first game, but
That's where I spent most of my time.
but at the same time,
Storing the memories of my
like
ancestors,
when this played during the first
entire
time,
lives
I just did what I'm doing right now.
locked
Only there was no one else to talk to, so I was just thinking about other shit.
Assassin from the Crusades.
Heh.
The Templars wanted the location of something known as a Piece of Eden, an ancient artifact capable of bending people to their will. Once the Templars had what they were looking for,
Like it's a thing of like, you know, giving the cliff notes, but this is like plot summaries.
saved me. Lucy. When things
Yeah.
were at their worst, she revealed herself to be an assassin and helped me.
And it's
escape.
going by so fast, I'm not really noticing anything that goes by.
But we were just getting started.
Yeah, I mean, we spent all of this time on Assassin's Creed 1, now we're in Assassin's Creed 2.
Now I'm reliving the memories of Ezio
And-
Yeah.
da Firenze.
And they're not introducing the most important character of them all, Baby.
Through the bleeding effect, I'm becoming an assassin in more than just name.
Mm.
It will come in handy as the Templars
Ah,
prepare to
boy.
enslave us all.
The best part of having played through all of these games 80 million times is that I can just do shit like, hey, what if I reference the enemies as this name that gets used like maybe twice in the whole series? Specifically, the enemies 2.0 is called Baby by Rebecca, I think twice, but don't quote me on that.
Well, it is her baby, so she's not wrong.
Yeah. So yeah, look at all of this shit happening at the end of the game that won't look like this once we get to it.
How did you find me?
Mario Auditore, let me hear.
Oh yeah, QTs, I forgot. This game has like 2 QTs.
Oh boy!
I said this game has 2 QTs. I think it has the same one twice. Actually. Boy.
Isn't that like the only time there's QTEs in the whole fucking game?
Yes.
Uh,
Oh my god.
Rebecca, what's going on?
I have to run some diagnostics.
By the way, I guess for some background knowledge or whatever, just context in case someone who, you know, just a normal person comes by this video. I played through this game probably like upwards of 27 times by now. So
I've played through it once.
yeah, there's a bit of a knowledge difference.
We can do no more. The rest is up to you.
What? Who is Desmond?
Like I stopped counting at
Don't understand.
playthrough 15, and then after that I still played through it probably as many times. So you know. Now you might be wondering, why are we only doing Brotherhood? And the answer is simple. Fuck spending 5 million hours on the Ezio trilogy, even though I love it.
Yeah. And Brotherhood, a big part of why we're only doing Brotherhood is because Brotherhood is the only one I've beaten.
Ah. But don't you have the full, like, don't you have the Ezio collection?
Yeah, I started AC2 and it just didn't grab me. I just kind of, it felt like I was
That's
forcing
fair.
myself to walk through it, you know?
That's fair. AC2, like, the controversial take. AC2, I think, is the worst of the Ezio trilogy.
I don't think that's a controversial. Well, I don't know if that's a controversial take because nostalgia is a hell of a thing that makes people say stupid things. But Brotherhood just added on to 2, and Revelations was the sequel to Brotherhood.
I mean, not only that, but also, like, Revelations isn't as much of a step up. Like, Brotherhood is, you can feel that Brotherhood was meant to be a DLC, but that's kind of why it's good, in my opinion, in that, like, you know, it's 2, but all of the good parts of 2 with none of the bad parts.
Yeah.
And like, more of it, and like, better realized because they had more time to develop it. Revelations wasn't as, revolutionary, I guess, which is not the right word to use in any context next to Assassin's Creed, but still.
Uncle.
Assassin's Creed Revelations was not as revolutionary, but at the same time, it had the best writing out of all of these 3 games. So it's a thing of, like, if you want just general gameplay with a fine story, then you play Brotherhood, and then, oh, it's triangle in this game, right? And then if you want a good story, then you play Revelations, but at the same time, Revelations as a story also hinges on you knowing what the fuck's up with Ezio. So,
Yeah.
but like, Revelations Ezio is the best version of him, which makes sense since that's when he was the most realized as a character, but, you know.
Yeah.
You would not believe the things I have seen, Mario.
Then be sure to
You would
stay
not
alive
believe the
and
things
might
I have
hear
seen,
of
Mario.
I expect opposition.
1,000 fireflies.
I expect the Borgia to mourn the loss of
I'll usher you to sleep or whatever.
So by this point, I assume you're supposed to pretty well push the Borgias out of all of Italy except for Rome, right?
Kind of. Well, you're not really throughout Assassin's Creed 2, you're not really trying to push the Borgias out. You're trying to kill the people who killed Ezio's family, or, you know, his brother and father, or brothers and father.
We must go
And Rodrigo just happens to be the person who ordered them dead. So Ezio spends all of that time, I don't know, like 20 or 30 years, going after Rodrigo to have revenge. And then when he gets there, he's like, you know what, you're not fucking worth revenge. I'm just gonna beat you up and let you go.
Yeah, and then it turns out, like, oh, God is taking part in this, and it's like, oh, this is considerably more serious than we thought.
Yeah, and with this game, like, the Borgia become enemy number 1, I guess. All of them at the same time, just because of what's going to happen in the upcoming like, hour or so of the game.
saving you
Yeah.
from the look.
And you do not get to... Okay,
Yeah.
so this is probably a stupid question. But you never really get to visit Rome in Assassin's Creed 2 outside of the final battle under the Vatican, right?
You're... Oh, in 2. Yeah. Yeah, that's the only time you're in Rome, in 2.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't asking for all Brotherhood. That'd be impressive if I played through the whole game and I'm like, when do you go to Rome and Brotherhood?
I'm just thinking about this game a lot because, you know...
Yeah.
Now,
I forget, is
yeah?
there anything to actually do in the Vatican whenever the game finally lets you go back to the Vatican way later?
Well, you can pretty much just go back to the Vatican whenever. You can look at the egg.
Oh, I don't... Oh, I didn't know. Okay, for some reason I thought the Vatican was like the locked off endgame area when I was playing Brotherhood. So I didn't go back until the game required me to.
The game lets you come back to the Vatican fairly early on from what I remember. Like, I think you only need to unlock Costa Sant'Angelo, but I may be wrong on that.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see. But yeah, I guess a funny tidbit I can share, I guess, is that after Revelations, which is not this game, but still, fuck it. We're gonna talk about all 3 games during this one, because we don't have time for all of them.
Well, presumably we're going to talk about all the Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah. But, so yeah.
Brotherhood's a fairly long game. We need stuff to talk about.
Yeah. So, after Revelations came out, Roger Craig Smith, world-renowned voice of Sonic, who did nothing for this game, went on a podcast to talk about, you know, how development went and stuff like that, you know, stuff that he could talk about relating to the game. And they asked him, hey, could you do the such and such line as young Ezio? He just went, I don't fucking remember how to do young Ezio anymore. Like, apparently it's a thing with voice acting, is that, like, you know, you forget voices you don't do for a while. And while these games technically were a year apart, a lot of that year was spent doing the same lines for the same game over and over again. So, like, I can imagine that he'd forget how to do the voices for Brotherhood Ezio and 2 Ezio when he had to do Revelations recently, because Ezio would just be Revelations for him at that point.
Yeah. And throw on top of that video games tend to have very different development schedules, and sometimes, you know, the voice acting comes earlier, sometimes later, sometimes it's a bit more strenuous than other games.
Yeah.
Especially for open world games, there are so many dialogue lines that the main character's voice actor has to record.
This decision is yours alone to make.
But the funny
I
funny
always say
yeah,
this,
go
but
ahead.
Red Dead 2, it took them 5 fucking years to record all the cast lines for Red Dead 2.
Yeah.
Bene.
But the funny thing is, even still, he did the line, which was they asked him to do like a midnight like sex line bit. Was that Ezio?
Amazing.
Yeah. So that's out there now. Ezio's Family. I spent I wanna say 4 years going, man, why is Ezio's Family not the main Assassin's Creed team? And then it was. So. And it still is. Like, technically, some of the games tried to go or tried to have 2 teams, I guess. Tried to have their own team as well as Ezio's Family, but usually for the title drop they use Ezio's Family because it's what people it's what people know, it's what people expect.
Technically, they are all Ezio's family.
In a way, you are right.
I mean, like, just for AC3, it's only about 200 years difference between... Well, no, it's closer to about 300 years difference between Brotherhood and AC3, and yet Connor is the spitting fucking image of Ezio.
Well, yes, but that could just be the animus being shit. Like, Ezio... Canonically, Ezio did not look like this. Wait, no. No, you're right.
Just imprints Desmond's face onto him?
Yes. For 1, 2, and Brotherhood, the animus sucked so hard that they had to imprint Desmond's face onto everyone that he was inhibiting or whatever inhabiting to make it so it didn't fucking crash. They fixed that in Revelations, I think, which is why we know what old Ezio looked like, which would mean that Connor did look like Desmond, and thus Ezio's Desmond face, at least. But I don't think we...
Well,
yeah?
Do you ever get to see old Altair?
Yes.
Does he look like Ezio?
Kind of, but not really.
Sure.
I mean, if you're asking if they both look like old men by the time they're old men, yes. But... And like they still have the scars that they have on these models because, you know, those are scars that they are, not Desmond.
Thanks to you.
Huh.
The big question is, why is Desmond's mustache, why does it have a space in it? Because Ezio got it when Vieri de Pazzi threw a rock at him.
How is mother?
She's fine.
That's the way young Ezio is introduced. Like he's born and then Vieri de Pazzi throws a rock at his face.
I had no idea you were so
Katarina. Here?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah?
Is the Spaniard truly dead?
go ahead.
I was going to say, oh yeah, we're gonna have to skip 4 cutscenes.
Steel yourself, it's
Unless,
Oh,
unless you wanna talk through the very awkward sex scene.
Forward to seeing her this evening.
we could probably talk through it. We're talking.
Alright.
I'm not. I can just look away from the screen. I'm eating potato soup.
All right.
The